So
All
Lauren,
right.
yeah, so kind of talking, just taking cue here, and you mentioned the integration part here. So what are like, give us some examples that you've seen of like really awesome integrations work. Like, have you seen something that other people can look up to and probably say, hey, I can do this. I can do some basics right. And some examples of maybe you've seen or implemented successful integrations of AAC.
In some of the classes where I've seen some real success, there have been screenshots of if there is one child with a device, screenshots of that child's main screen. Typically, I'm a big proponent of core language, so there's depending on the student, there'd be a decent amount of core on that main screen, or perhaps it's a combination, couple of screens that are actually packing taped to the tables in front of everybody, every kid, not just the kids that are using communication devices or communication books, and teaching the kids to start using aided language to start pointing to words as they speak. And what we find in the classrooms, and I've done this in one preschool class as well, is that, of course, not shocking, the other kids in these classes are also benefiting. We're seeing language benefits. Their syntax is getting a little better, their vocabularies are getting a little larger, and the child with the communication system is seeing other people point and use, and that's really invaluable. Also, having things up on, if let's say that we're focusing on the word go, I'll say, okay, will go everywhere. Put it on the smart board. Put it on the door frame. So every time you go out the door that you point, and it needs to look like their symbol, but you point and you say, okay, we're going to go now. So it's really about making sure that communication is everywhere, but also narrowing it enough to say, don't think this is this massive task. You can just focus on a couple of words a week and try to just model the heck out of those words. The word go is a great place to start, because go can mean start. Go can mean walk out of the room. And think about how many times you can point to a symbol and model just that one word in a day. So if you focused on that and maybe one other word for a week, it can really make a pretty notable difference. So, the classrooms where I've seen the most success is when there have been communication displays, taped to the tables, on the walls, also, kind of cheat sheets about how to interact with people who have complex communication needs. I've made a couple. There's other ones that other people have made where they've been printed on I'm moving too much, where they've been printed on poster paper and kind of put all over the place, so that the staff in the room is repeatedly reminded of the things, maybe what they shouldn't be doing to support people with complex communication needs, and the things that they should be doing, so that it's really kind of in their face all day long.
Yeah, I'm a really huge fan of this idea that actually Narayan brought this up recently of the labeled playground. I think I'm gonna try to push this forward with all the schools that I work with, because why not have the icon for slide there? We can reinforce language all the time.
Right. So as soon as let's go down the slide, you point to slide. I mean, it just the opportunities are there, but we need to have the symbols to be able to model it. There's not always, especially on the playground, and that's another thing that people get stuck on a little bit, is that, well, in certain instances, if they are using high-tech systems, they can't be having their system. Well, then it's okay to have a paper model of whatever their high-tech system is. You're still reinforcing language, and they can still be learning. That's something that people can get hung up on a little bit. So I try to support that idea also. Just use paper if it's not a situation where the electronics are going to work.
It's funny how we go back to like low tech because something that works everywhere. So it's really interesting that low tech can solve a lot of problems to begin with, and then you can always graduate to high tech and use low tech whenever you want. And
Right. I mean, one of the biggest reasons for high tech is that we do want these large vocabularies, and it really becomes unmanageable to have a huge vocabulary when it's not high tech, because then you're flipping too much. Whatever the setup is, it's just becomes inefficient. And we know that as soon as it becomes inefficient and difficult, we're only going to see communication in times where it's most motivating, not at all times. So we want it to be, communication has to be easy for us to expect it to happen. We don't do stuff that's hard, so neither are they.